Hey, this is Theresa Barron. I'm here with the Real Tea Talk, and I got a little tongue-tied, just not even expecting for that camera to pop on, but I'm here with the Real Tea Talk, and you know we are agent-centric. This season, it's all about how to improve and how to add value to real estate agents all over this U.S. and Canada and wherever you're coming to us from. Listen, I will give you my details so that you know that I am legitimate. My broker number is 2010002720. And earlier today, I said it like too many zeros. So if there's too many zeros, try it again with one less. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find me so that you could verify that I am who I say I am. Today, I am bringing on a young lady that I've been following for the last couple of years. I'm just impressed. I'm really impressed, and that's who I like to bring in front of you. People that I see doing this real estate thing in a way that is something to be respected, something to be honored, and just seeing it in the marketplace just makes me so happy because it's not always done that way. I want you to know that real estate in and of itself usually takes 5 years for somebody to really master it and to learn it. And it takes a heck of a lot of coaching and training and teaching. So if you jump into real estate and you do really well right away, that means you have some extraordinary skills, or somebody really has given you, put some shine on you and given you the pathway. Today, my guest is Ebony Napier, and she is with Red One Realty, which is one of our local brokers right here in Central Ohio. Ebony, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm so excited to see you here and to actually get to see you in the person. I know I see you every day on Facebook.
Right.
I know I'm always high-fiving or putting that, every time you close something, I see it. Mm-hmm. I'm just really excited about your success and your strategies. So tell me, how are you building your business? Because there's a lot of agents out there that are just not able to do it.
For me, I was just very structured on what my plans was going to be when I started.
Go ahead.
So the first thing that I wanted to do was learn. I really wasn't into selling. I was just like, I'm going to go to all the classes. As we know, the test does not teach you how to be an agent. It teaches you how to pass the test.
Girl.
The classes teaches you how to pass the test is what I meant to say. But you need guidance. I needed to know what to look for in mold and radon machines when I'm looking at houses, Bowen walls and things of that nature, because what I wanted to do was bring value to my clients.
You are preaching. Go ahead and preach that sermon.
Yes.
Value to your clients. It wasn't about the money.
It wasn't about the money. That's the biggest key to this job.
Girl.
Is that you want to bring value. When someone hires you to purchase the most expensive piece of property that they're going to ever buy, it's going to be more than a car, maybe more than student loans or anything of that nature. You want them to be confident that they're making the right decision. So for me, that's what I did. I was like, I want to learn everything before I go out here, because you can have some legal issues, you know what I'm saying, if you can't recognize what you're doing when you're writing contracts and stuff like that. So I learned everything first.
Okay.
And then I took about 6 months of every time my broker at the time was having classes in the evening. Mm-hmm. And so that worked best for me and my daughter. And so she took a lot of classes too, Get your headphones on and do whatever you can do while I'm going through these classes.
Right.
And so I literally just took as many classes as I want. Then I started doing phone duty.
Okay.
And that's how I got my first client.
Isn't that something? People try to act like that's a big deal to come into the office where the energy is.
That's how I got my first client.
First client is by being in the office and taking over the phones.
Yes. And I'll tell you, that client, they was investors.
Yeah.
And they bought a house probably for 60, 70,000 when it was houses that was move-in condition at that price.
Right.
And
now wait a minute, you started in 2017, so it ain't been that long. It's not been. It's like 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. And they have bought 3 more houses with me since.
I'm telling you, yes.
And they had houses before I met them.
Right.
And they asked me after the first deal, you know, I want you to come over. It was a Mexican couple, so I can cook you a really good Mexican meal. And I'm like, sure.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And again, they bought a couple, like 3 houses from me, I believe. And they haven't bought any houses recently because the market has changed
completely for them.
Because
they were getting them for the deal.
They were getting them for the deal for low. That's like no more.
And that doesn't exist in
not
in this city.
Not in this city.
Right.
And the next, and I can remember this like yesterday. The next deal I got was an agent. Her name was Heather Dunn. I don't know if you know Heather.
Yeah, I did.
She was selling her house, her personal house.
Okay.
And she was like, she put something out. I don't know how I was in a group under 40 because I wasn't under 40, but I was in a group. And I never went because I'm like 43 at the time, something like that. And I said, I'll do your open house. She's like, I didn't feel comfortable because it's my house. There's a lot of agents there's a lot of clients probably going to come in unrepresented.
Right.
So I called my broker and I said, is it okay if I do an open house? I mean, she's not in our company. And he said that was fine. And that's how I got my second deal.
Girl, and that's something. So people don't know. It's a lot of times it's a give. It is you give and then you receive. You give and then you receive. And a perfect example of this is that Ebony is with an entirely different brokerage, but for me, it's important to give because I see what she's doing and I already know I'm going to receive. I don't know where it's coming from, but I know that I'm going to receive. So I think that's a gem there, and that's spilling some tea in terms of what you need to do to improve your luck in this business. If nothing else,
caring about people,
caring about them.
And when I say that, it's like my first client, they wanted this one house, the house that I met them on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, the walls in the garage was bowing, you know, there were some other issues. I'm like, I don't think this is a good fit for you, you know, and they respected that. You don't want to force buyers into buying a house because you need to be paid, you know, there it is. You have to care about people, number one, you know,
and tell the truth.
Especially
if you can see it. Yeah, because it could be a big liability on your part and to your broker. Yes.
And so for me, I always wanted to make sure that I always say the woman that raised me, Gladys Scott, was always about the right thing. I was, you know, and I learned that from her. You know what I mean? About always being, and she had a tougher childhood than I had. She had a tougher life than I had. She was born in like 1931, something like that. And
she raised you with that standard.
She raised me with that standard. And I didn't see it then, but I see it now. And I hope she's looking down at me like, Eb is doing very good, you know. Yeah. And that is why I got into this business, to help people. I bought a house and my realtor was okay. I can't say nothing bad about him. He was a little different than me, but he was okay. But I didn't know a lot of stuff. I don't think I was educated enough. And when I said, when I buy my next house, I'll sell myself a house.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's exactly what I did.
Oh, you did? Yes. Okay. So how was so I'm exactly the opposite in terms of, when I was selling myself, so this house that we're in, this studio that we're in right now, which is really an Airbnb, this was my first house.
Nice.
This was my first house. Bought it in 1989, so I know I'm dating myself. But it is what it is.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. And a guy by the name of Sam Legan, he was an independent Black-owned brokerage, and he was a broker. He's the one that sold me this house.
Nice.
And he showed me this one house. And at the time, I was a single mom. I had 3 kids. I had not followed any of the rules. I was a high school dropout that ended up with 3 babies, working a job that I could not stand.
But look at you now.
Look.
That's all that matters.
There it is, girl. There it is. There it is. But I bought this property and it changed the trajectory of my life. I want to tell you something else that just happened recently to show you how there's a spiritual situation in every circumstance, and not to take people there, but to take people there. Just in the last month, an agent that bought a house through me became an agent within the brokerage that I'm in, right?
Okay.
And who in the world did she walk into the office? The man who sold me this house.
Man that sold you this house.
No, his son.
Oh.
Who had no idea about how he impacted and changed the whole trajectory of my life.
Exactly.
My organization, my business would not be here.
Right.
Pretty much guaranteed had it not been for that man, that man's daddy.
Right.
And just like in full circle, 34 years later, I didn't have nothing to do with it, but he was pulled right into my brokerage. I said, wait a minute, let me ask you something. How do you pronounce your last name? Is your daddy, who's your daddy?
Right. Right.
Who's your daddy?
Right.
I said, the person that sold me my first house name was Sam. He said, that's my daddy. I said, you got to be kidding me.
Right, right.
So that was it was just one of those poignant moments where you never forget it. You just never forget it. So that's why I'm curious to know, because I feel a little bit differently about selling myself a house. And because I think I'm going to be too biased. I'm going to be too whatever. I think I'm not going to treat myself the way I need to treat myself because I'm emotionally attached to the house.
Right.
So that wasn't your experience, though. You felt very different about that.
I felt very different. I was an agent, when I bought the house that I'm in now.
Yeah.
And I represented myself, and I forget his last name, but I forget his first name. Was it William Ball? But he's an agent.
Okay.
He's like, you made my life so easy because you did everything. You know what I mean? And it was a good experience. It was when I bought my house in 2019.
Okay.
It's my second house.
Yeah.
And it was when multiple offers and everything. And I ended up getting it, and I didn't want to go over, so I told him, you don't have to pay me 3%. That's how.
You negotiated that commission.
Yeah.
You let him keep it. That was a smart move.
The seller.
The seller, not the agent.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she paid him the whole, but I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Because they were friends too.
Okay. I got it.
And then, so somebody bid higher than me, but they took my offer because they didn't have to pay a commission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, for me, it was like, I'm going to pay it on taxes. I might as well not even take the money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. That's a little different than the way that my last transaction was. So the first house that I bought, an agent sold me my house. But I sold myself the third house. Okay. And I also sold my second house.
Okay.
So I sold my second house. I did good on that because it was a listing. It was just, show it and market it and so forth. And that was in 1998. In 1999, behind that, I purchased this house on Bryce Road. This is how badly I wanted this house. I had to get my family because we were busting at the seams. Okay. I had at the time 6 kids, and I was like, I cannot stay in this little 1,300 square foot 1-bath house any longer. Right. And it was my ex-husband. I needed his VA loan, and I didn't want him saying no. Right. So I found the biggest, fastest house I could find, and I'm thinking I'm in Reynoldsburg. Because I'm on Bryce Road, and I'm just thinking I'm in Reynoldsburg. I wrote a full price offer, put it in contract, bought the house, and found out I was in Columbus City Schools. I said, that's why I can't. Yes.
All over. Yeah. Yes. You're like, I couldn't buy my. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, I cannot ever do this. The emotional attachment to moving made me sloppy at that time.
Right.
And I said, I'll never, ever do that again.
Right.
So the next 2 or 3, I think I bought one more for myself, but I was a listing agent again.
Right.
So I just bought my client's house. And then the next 2 or 3, I actually hired one of my agents to go ahead and sell me my house too, because I was like,
it took me a minute to buy a house because I only had a certain school district I was going to move in.
Yeah.
I was renting again because I left my other house and got rid of that house and was renting.
So you did in between.
Yeah, and I was renting, while my son was in high school.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to go to Dublin Kaufman, so we rented a condo in Dublin. I rented my house out.
Mm-hmm.
And this was back in 2010, 11.
Yeah.
And the market was different then.
Very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And as soon as he graduated high school, I was like, okay, it's time to buy again, And then I couldn't really find what I was looking for, so we moved back to Worthington. We moved to Worthington.
Yes.
And we were there for 3 to 4 years in a condo, and I was like, but I couldn't find a house. Worthington if you're looking for Worthington, it's a very nice area, but the houses are very old.
Yes, really old.
And I was like, I don't want to redo a whole house,
Girl, yeah.
So I told my daughter, when you get out of 6th grade camp, because they go to some camp in Delaware,
yeah,
honey, we're going to probably be moving from Worthington schools because I'm not renting another year,
Yes.
But when I found this house, I was on my way to say that, why I brought that up, I was mad because I didn't find a house and my landlord wouldn't let me not renew the lease. He said, well, I can't find anyone to rent it if you go month to month in the winter.
Right.
So the day that I went and looked at my house, I was on my way to California on vacation, and I wrote the offer at the airport.
Oh, you did?
We actually went to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And they were calling me when we were boarding a plane, the ball guy, and he was like, well, I think they're going to take your offer, But my landlord said, if you get in contract, I'll let you out the lease if you can sell the condo.
All right. Oh,
I sold that condo.
Yeah, honey, that condo got wet.
I sold that condo. And then he was mad because I represented the buyer too.
Uh-oh. Isn't that wonderful though?
Yes. And then I had my cleaning lady come clean it, so he had to give me my deposit back.
Yeah.
Plus he had to pay me. So he was like, oh my God. He was just like, and like I said, we had 2 offers. Because it was a nice condo in Worthington, but it wasn't huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, but we had 2 offers, and I ended up meeting one of them. I met the guy that bought the condo. Mm-hmm. That was his first investment property.
Oh, wow.
And I've closed 6 deals with him probably since
then.
Okay,
so there's a gem there. Mm-hmm. There is a gem there.
Yes.
So not always is it just the everyday consumer that we're serving.
Right.
So what would you tell an agent that's struggling to figure out what their niche is? How would they, because what I'm seeing from you is that you've had a couple of investors that buy over and over and over again. And so what do you say about that?
Customer service. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. Customer service. My investors, they keep coming back to me because I'm always there for them 24/7. I'm one of those, if I'm up, I'm answering. And that if you're an agent and you're a new agent, and we have this problem in this profession.
We do. Go ahead and speak to it.
People don't answer the phone. And I get very upset about you have a new listing on the market and you're not answering your phone. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Big problem.
Big problem.
Yeah.
Or I'm calling you for information and you're texting me back. Can you text? Well, I'm driving, and how are you servicing your clients?
There it is. Yeah.
And the biggest thing with that investor who bought that condo, like I said, he bought 3 duplexes off of me, another single family condo in Polaris. He sent me other people.
Right.
I mean, and I've closed so many deals with him.
Yes.
From one open house. And it was my house.
And you've heard people say that open houses aren't worth your time.
Listen, I just had a listing in Westerville, and I don't do open houses a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, like at one point in time, you don't have to because it's gonna be off the market in 2 days because you got 5,000 offers.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, it's time to start doing open houses again. The market is a little different. You want to make sure
different,
maximizing your for your clients. Mm-hmm. And the one that I closed about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago or so, I met him at my listing, and he came and he was late. He called and he said, well, I'm running late. And I said, well, I'll wait for you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So those are things like that. I'll wait for you.
Just a little extra.
I said, I'll wait for you. When he came, I said, well, I'll have to tell you, even though I had it listed everywhere, these are owner occupants only. That's another thing. Don't list anything on the market without checking to see if it can be an FHA loan, if they take VAs. After 90 days. If it's a flip, you cannot do a FHA loan within that 90 days.
She dropping the tea, y'all.
She's pouring it. And if you are an agent, you're a listing agent, and you don't have these things in place, you know what I mean?
And you don't know.
And you don't know. You can hurt your client that way. Mm-hmm. Having them take a FHA loan and the condo community doesn't accept it, or it's a 90-day rule, or anything like that. So that is something I told him. I said, well, I had it everywhere that this is only owner occupant, but I can find you something else.
And you served him.
Yeah, and then he closed about a month ago, and I met him at an open house.
Isn't that something? Okay. Well, we're going to give, we always give at least one final gem. Okay. That one gem that if somebody was listening to you right now, and they were thinking about, it's just been really tough for a lot of people surviving this business. It's not something we do by ourselves. Like, for instance, you have other income sources and, very structured way of doing business. And you've got managerial skills and all kinds of stuff behind you that make you a rock star, right?
Right.
But let's just say that somebody they don't have all that.
Right.
They get into this business, like to your point, it's not the test. It is not the test. It's a real business.
It's a real business. And you got to treat it as such.
Talk to me about that, and we're gonna drop it there. We're going to leave it right there.
I will always say this. If you are good to people, God will be good to you. Yep. If you get in this business because you just want to sell and you don't care about people and you don't care about servicing people, you will not be successful. But faith without work is dead. Dead. Because this is the thing. I sit up and think about things that I'm going to post or things that I'm going to do ahead of time. And I'll add this. I'm not from Columbus.
Yeah. And you got a booming business.
But I got 97% of my clients from Facebook.
Oh, girl, stop it.
I don't go nowhere. I'm at home. And, in the beginning, I will say this. Get out there. I used to go to Mother Day brunches. I had my listings from that. I went to different things. Bridal at the McCoy Center. Paid at $375. And I've closed a deal out of that. Get yourself out there. Yes. And those people will refer you to other people. Yes. But you got to have good customer service. And you got to care. You got to pick up your phone when your clients are calling you. I'm at the beach all the time. If I have somebody covering for me, but guess what? If they call me, I'm answering. I'm at the beach, but I'm answering. I got my laptop. If I need to do something, I'm gonna do it. Right. Because this is somebody who's trying to get into a house. Real estate does not sleep. You cannot say I'm at the beach and I can't write a counter or accept a counter or send something for your client. So that's what I'll say. Good customer service.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. This is Ebony Napier. Ebony, tell them how if they want to get in touch with you. How can they get in touch with you? Are you open to, educating, if someone needs a mentor or wants to learn? Do you have the time in your life to even, to put it out there?
Yes, I mentor a lot already with newer agents in my brokerage or even agents from other ones that call me and ask me questions. You can reach me at 614-603-7142. I always answer my phone unless you are trying to sell healthcare insurance.
Or trying to buy your house. Somebody trying to buy your house.
My house. I'm not selling my house. Yes. I got a 2-point-some interest rate. I'm cool. There it is. And I'm on Facebook. It's Facebook and Instagram. And my Facebook is just my name, Ebony Napier, Red One Realty. And my Instagram is Ebony Sales Columbus, Ohio.
And she does. She sells Columbus, Ohio. And I'll tell you, the last thing I'll say is it's an abundant world. There's more than enough to go around.
Yes.
That who connects with Ebony is who connects with Ebony. Who connects with Theresa is who connects with Theresa. Nobody can ever take anything away from you. You got to get off this bus of comparison. You cannot compare her whole 20-year history in working with customer service and all the dynamics that go along with that, and then getting into real estate with your experience to your brand newness. You can't compare it. You have to grow into the business. You have to learn the business. And really what you want to do is become friends with her so she can show you and and then refer you to people who can help you to get this thing done. So this is Theresa Barron, and I'm here with Ebony Napier with Red One Realty. I thank you so much for tuning in today, and let me know if there's anything in the world we can do for you. This is the Real Tea Talk podcast.